All right, I'm going to pin that here. I'm just going to go ahead and start because this is going to be very brief. I have an agenda. Is that going to be backwards? That is backwards, but I do have an agenda that I'm reading from. So we're just going to review classwork and talk about materials. Those are the two things I just wanted to make sure. I just wanted to touch base with everybody. Your current classwork, and I guess I should learn how to use presenter mode, and I could be looking at places on my computer, but I don't have that skill set because I haven't spent any time thinking about Google Meet yet. So your classwork right now that we are recently has been to create a color wheel. A lot of you did that in class. And if you were an A group student, you should have gotten your color wheel returned with all of your materials that you were supposed to pick up. So as long as you have, you were in B group, or as long as you've picked up your supplies, then you should have your color wheel. Make sure you have taken a picture and submitted that. I will be getting those grades in by tomorrow, if I haven't already. And then color schemes, that's the next thing that you're doing. It looks like this. You should have taken this home. If for some reason you haven't been able to pick up your supplies, so you don't have a copy of this, you can just do this in your sketchbook. You can write the names and make squares. It doesn't matter, but this is to explore different color schemes and just kind of have a visual of what different color schemes are. So you're going to have to use your vocabulary, the PowerPoints or the slides that I've posted, your color wheel. You're going to have to use all of that to figure out one example of each of these color schemes. And I can't remember if you guys got that done. Some of you may have gotten this done or started in class. But that is, I think, due today. Yes, color schemes is due tonight. So try to get this completed and turned in. And then your next project, which I just posted, is the first part of a large project that's going to take us through the end of the semester. So now that we've learned color schemes, here comes someone else. Now that we've learned color schemes, your job is going to be to create an artwork and repeat it and use a different color scheme for each repetition. So you're going to make a landscape drawing and you're going to repeat that same landscape 3 times. And just a little, like 8 or 9 inch square. So you're going to cut out 3 squares. You're going to draw in pencil a landscape. That's your task for this week, is just to draw a landscape. So your Google Slides just has the overview of the whole project and then the directions for what to do just this week, just to draw the landscape 3 times. Next week, you're going to pick out your favorite 3 color schemes. So I'm trying to give you a little bit of time to make sure this is done. So next week, you're going to pick out your favorite 3, and one of the landscapes you're going to paint in your first chosen color scheme, and then you're going to choose a second one for the second landscape, and you're going to choose a third one. So you might do one landscape in warm colors, one in complementary, and one in monochromatic. And then when we are done, your final exam for the semester is basically going to be to take a look at your 3 landscapes and kind of decide, well, how does changing the color change the mood or feeling of this landscape? Because warm colors feels very different than like monochromatic blue. Those are going to be different moods entirely. So that's what your project is going to be. So I'm going to give it to you in short pieces. So this week is just draw landscape 3 times. Read through the overview, the Google Slides, and draw your landscape so that you have all 3. And next week, I will give you 1 assignment at a time to complete a landscape. So on Monday, I'll post, take your first landscape, choose a color scheme. What's your color scheme? Paint it that way. And I'll give you some information about how you can do that. I'll give you some painting tips. I'll attach a video for that. So we'll do that 1 at a time. You'll probably get your first landscape done the first part of next week. The end of next week, I'll assign your second one, and then the last week, you'll get your third one. So over the course of 2 weeks, you're going to paint 3 landscapes, 8 to 9 inch squares, not very big. I expect to see blending, shading, tinting, and I will post some videos with some paint expectations. But that is what we're doing for the rest of the semester. I'm just going to give it to you in pieces. Does anybody have any questions about the project? hear silence. That tells me.
don't.
What was that?
I said I don't have any. I just wanted to break the silence.
Nice. Well done, Natalie. That was good. Thank you. I do appreciate that. If you do have questions, the easiest way to get a hold of me is actually to email me. If you put a private comment on Google Classroom, I am finding that somehow that gets kind of lost in shuffle, and I don't always see it right away, and I don't always get back to you as fast as I could. Emailing me is the best way possible. I am not going to be in class the rest of this week. I will come in one day next week. I don't know which day I'll be able to get there, but I will try to at least come in once a week in the morning. So if you need to come in at all, you can come in. Okay, so on my agenda, review classwork. Yes, done. Materials pickup. Last thing before you guys can head out. I left supplies. I think most people picked them up. There were like 2 people that still had to pick them up. I have more paint at home. If you run out of paint, use your paint sparingly, but if you do run out of paint, you can either let me know, and then the day next week that I come in, I can get you some paint, or you can order your own paint, or if you have any tempera paint or acrylic paint at home, either one will work. We're using tempera paint for this project, but acrylic paint works pretty similarly. Maybe just test it out first so you know how it mixes, but that would work too. So you're welcome to get your own paints. Michaels has some pretty cheap. The Artist Loft brand is pretty good. Amazon has some pretty good acrylic sets. They, will have more colors than what I've supplied, and that's totally fine. You're allowed to use that. But other than that, I will not be back until probably the middle of next week. So use your paint sparingly. And if you haven't picked up your supplies, the office is open Monday through Friday, 8 to 3. And your supplies are waiting for you if you haven't picked them up already. I think most people have your stuff. So, any questions about material pickup? No? Good? Okay. If you have no more questions for me, then you can peace out. You've got your points for the Google Meet, and you're good.